Ooh, northern pufferfish. Oh. Hey y'all, I'm Fuzzie Chikun. I realize that it's been a little while since I've posted any gaming content, and for that I apologize. Over the last 10 years, I got some explaining to do. What? Seriously, what the heck do you want? Look, I don't need validation for my walking potential copyright infringement, okay? I'm just trying to introduce my video and do a little fishing here, so why don't you turn around, walk away, and leave me alone? That's right, go. Goodbye. See you later. Don't need ya. Where was I? Oh yeah. Today I actually wanted to talk about this world. It's called Fish, with an exclamation point. It's been in beta for the last 2 weeks. I've spent a lot of time here with my friends, and we really enjoy this world. So I thought it would be fun to make a little video showcasing kind of what it's about, how you play, and maybe it'll turn into a series of videos. I'm not really sure yet. I've got some ideas, I got some plans, big thoughts in this head, but let's get right into it. Fish is a new VRChat game world by TrickForge Studios and uploaded by user Godfall. The world launched as a beta on February 13th, 2026. It's only been out for 2 weeks, but I just checked the description page and it's already been favorited by over 64,000 players and collected more than 1.4 million visits. Fish is scheduled to officially release on Friday, February 27th. Just to be clear, this is not a sponsored video, and I don't have any relationship with TrickForge Studios or Godfall. I'm just a big fan who wants to share it with others. Fish is an open-world fishing game with 4 major islands and 4 unique points of interest around the open sea. The graphics are retro-inspired, using lower polygon counts and simple but attractive textures that look really nice in VR without overly taxing your computer. The music and sound design are implemented beautifully, being tied to specific locations, times, and events. The world of Fish is populated by characters resembling a certain Nintendo game that also has islands and fishing, but for legal reasons are distinctly different. Players can talk to the characters by clicking on them or pressing the E key and interacting with the built-in text prompts. Fish are caught using the same mini-game mechanic as retro-inspired game darling Stardew Valley. Fish can then be sold for gold coins, which are then used to purchase more advanced fishing equipment, including rods, poles, and bobbers, each with their own stats, allowing for a wide variety of options. There are also boats that can be purchased for navigating the world, and each boat has a number of skins that can be purchased with in-game currency. The world has a full day and night cycle and multiple random events, including weather, a world event called Moonrain, and special fishing pools that spawn in the open sea. More on these later. Fish has quickly become the favorite social hub for my group of friends. If you're a VRChat user, or if you have an interest in VR fishing games, or just casual social games that have a sense of progression, characters, things like that, basically, if the idea of a game in VRChat that feels more like a game you would pay for in the store sounds appealing to you, keep watching to learn why Fish could be your next favorite obsession. Everyone starts on Coconut Bay, which is a small tropical island situated in the center of the map, with a stick, a string for a line, and a cheap red plastic bobber just like the one I used as a kid, which is largely decorative. But don't worry, because you'll soon have enough coins to upgrade from this starter garbage to an actual pole. And it'll always stay in your inventory, so if you feel a little nostalgic later, maybe you want to remember your roots, get a little humbled, you can pull it back out, like I am, and try fishing with it again so that you can remember how far you've come. Players can spawn their rod by holding down on the right controller thumbstick in VR, or using the T key on PC. The game is deceptively simple. Cast your bait in the water, wait for a fish to bite, and then you catch the fish. If you've played Stardew Valley or are at least familiar with it, the fishing minigame should be pretty self-explanatory. But if you haven't, here's how it works. So we have our bait in the water, we get the exclamation point showing us that we have a catch on the line. So on the left-hand side, you'll see a hook icon and a bar that is filling up with green. On the right-hand side, we have a fish icon that comes in different colors, and we have a white bar behind that that we can control with our trigger. Or if you're on a computer, it's controlled with your mouse. The fish icon is going to bob up and down, which kind of represents the fish fighting on your line. So what you want to do is kind of feather the trigger to keep the white box behind the fish. The longer it's behind the fish, the more that green bar fills up on the left. And if you leave it, you can see that green bar goes back down. Once you have filled the green bar up all the way, you catch the fish. But if you let the green bar go too far down and fully deplete, you lose the fish. As I said, it's deceptively simple because the game in and of itself sounds really easy, and for lower level fish it is. But the actual minigame gets more difficult with rarer fish and bigger fish. You can make this easier by buying upgraded equipment, and practice definitely helps. Fish that are more rare are more difficult to catch and therefore worth more coins typically. In addition to rarity types, there are additional modifiers that can change the value of what you catch when you sell it at the store. Each comes with its own visual appearance. When I first read about this world and saw that it claimed to have about 20,000 unique fish, I was pretty skeptic. I mean, how do you do that? But then I thought about games like Diablo and Borderlands, where loot that you find can have prefixes and suffixes that kind of make everything feel a lot more varied and unique. And as it turns out, fish is a lot the same way. So I cast my line in and I catch a Atlantic salmon. The plain default version is just one unique version. With varying chance rates, I could also have the prefixes of tiny or huge, which modifies the weight. It also modifies the way that it appears in the game. That right there already gives us 3 unique fish. On top of that, there are secondary prefixes. I wanted to do some more fishing so that I could come up with an example. This is a huge shadow cod. So on top of it being larger than normal, it also has the shadow type, which changes the way that it looks in the world. I've never actually counted up how many of the secondary prefixes there are, but they can be things like radioactive, golden, shiny, cursed, blessed, ghastly, tiger, zebra, sandy, negative, electrified, rainbow or holographic, shadow. I think that covers most of them, but probably not all of them. Camo. Camo's another one. That's right. I knew I was forgetting at least one. Look, I'm doing this from memory, so cut me a little slack here. When you combine one of the dozens and dozens of individual fish that are in the index with a size prefix and a specialized prefix like shadow, you can kind of see how they're starting to get to that 20,000 figure. If you failed algebra, just trust me on this, bro. One last point on fishing. When you go to retrieve your catch, a lot of people want to pull it off the rod, but it doesn't work that way. The trigger that you use to fish in VR and on PC, it's the mouse click. You just take that same hand, click the trigger again, and it goes directly into your bag. Next, let's talk about the in-game menu. So, you've caught a fish, it's in your bag, you want to see what's in your bag. What's the best way to do that? Open up your menu. So, On PC, you can hit the B key. In VR, you hold up on your right thumbstick. So first up, in the bag, you can see all of your fish here. I only have a couple in my bag because I sold recently, but you can see that I've got 4 that are currently locked. You lock fish by selecting them and clicking the blue lock, and if I want to unlock, it's the exact same process. Click on the fish, hit the blue button, lock, unlock. If you have a particularly rare fish that you want to show off to your friends, this is really handy. There's also other reasons why you might want to lock fish, but I'll let you figure those out on your own. Another cool feature is the show off thing. So let's say I've got something that I want to show to my friends. I'm going to click on the fish, and then I'm going to click this green button, and oh, there we go. Boom. It fell out of the bag, and now I can actually pick it up and hold it in the world and show it to everyone. Another really cool thing about these is they don't have collision, but they do have throwing physics. So, yeet! And there it goes. In order to clean your fish up after you've shown them off, we just kind of toss them in the ocean. I think they despawn after a little while down there. I don't really know because you'll drown if you go down too far. But in the meantime, it's probably the best option. Also of note is that when you show a fish off to your friends, it's not deleting it from your bag. Throwing it doesn't do anything to what's actually in my inventory. As you can see, it's still there. It just creates an in-world copy that you can show to people, which is, I think, a lot of fun. Let's talk about the gear tab next. So as you can see, I've got my rods over here, and I have my stick and string rod selected. I can click on any one of these to change my rod to my current rod. You can even do that while the hook and bobber are in the water, which is kind of cool. Each rod has stats. We'll go over that with the shop section if I haven't already. And then you have your lines. It's the same thing. Click on a line to equip it. Bobbers, same thing. Just click it to equip it. Over here, you'll see your rod final stats. These take into account your rod, technically it's your equipment final stats, or your gear setup, whatever you want to call it. Because it takes into account your rod, your line, your bobbers, and any enchantments that you have on your rod. The other tabs I want to talk about are the Players tab. This gives you a list of players that are currently in your instance with you and their location. So, Fuzzie Chikun, I am currently the master of the instance since I'm the only one here, and I am located in Coconut Bay. What you'll see when you have other players in the world is, in addition to their location, it will say like Tanglewood Isle and 650 meters or something. It'll tell you how far away they are from you. Let's look at the shop tab really quick. This is where you can buy things with VRChat bucks. I have bought the boat spawner and the sell anywhere, and I have zero regrets. I wanted to support the world financially. These are just quality of life things, and they've added this sell and this boat over to the left-hand side of my menu, and they're great. It allows you to, anywhere that there's water, you can spawn your boat and get back out into the ocean or just fish from it. And then sell anywhere is exactly as described. If you're in the middle of the ocean, you've got a bunch of fish and you want to, see how much they're worth, you can open up the Sell Anywhere tab. You don't have to sell at the moment. It will just tell you what your bag value is. It is a little difficult to close out of, though, if you don't sell anything, and so I'll typically sell, like, some common trash or common fish, like regular fish, to get it to close out. We also have titles. These show up above your head in the world. So if I pick, let's say, nuts for coconuts, I got this for completing all of my index for Coconut Bay. I hit equip, and can you see it? It's kind of tilted weird. I'm not sure why that is, but you can kind of see it there. This is why I actually have my titles unequipped while I'm filming, because they're a bit distracting. Your settings are here. This might be one of the first things that I probably should have covered, but oh well. It gives you your total time played. I have spent 4 days, 1 hour, and 50 minutes of my actual life in this instance. Granted, I've spent a lot of time in this world just filming and trying to get shots set up and everything, so that's not reflective of my actual playtime, but I have played it quite a bit. You can also turn shop indicators on or off. You can't really see those on the video, but when you get into the world, you'll see things like the... Anyway, I'm not pointing at it, but the boat shop over here says boats above it with an arrow pointing down. It's very handy. There's also the desktop controls guide that you can turn on and off. So if you're in VR and you don't want to see those, you just click that off. You can control the music volume, the ambience volume, and the sound effects volume. The index luck board is toggleable. My understanding is when you finish an entire index for an island, you get a luck boost when you're on that island or in that zone. You can turn rumble in your hand grips off if you want to save battery life, or I don't know, maybe you just don't like it. There's a right hand UI, so that little menu that I was showing earlier on my left hand, you can switch that to your right hand now. This is especially handy if, I don't know, maybe you're right-handed, maybe you just prefer it there. People in the Discord server were saying that their left-hand controller was broken and so they couldn't see anything. So it's kind of cool that you can now switch that. The hand UI buttons is a new feature. It brings up a little in your UI menu on your hand, a backpack icon and a rod icon. I haven't figured out how to use them yet. They show up, but you can't really click them, and I think it's because the menu that shows up here is not a clickable layer in game. So, I don't know, whatever. And then shadow quality is one of the last settings that you can adjust, but that does actually have an effect on the water plane if you turn it all the way down, so I just leave it set to default, and then I control all of my graphics settings through the VRChat menu. Alright, now onto the index. They finally fixed it. There was a small issue in the beta where for a while, even if you'd completed a zone, it would show up as being partial because they added new fish that are currently uncatchable. I don't really understand what's going on, but I saw a bug last night that people were catching the new fish once in a while. But this, when you get into it, this is basically your fish decks. It shows you all the fish in the game. If you don't click on any of the zones over here on the left-hand side, and you can kind of see them highlighting as I go up and down, it will show you all the fish. So you can see I've still got some question marks. These are placeholders for new fish that are going to be added after the launch. And then as I scroll through, you can see fish are organized by rarity, from trash all the way down to relics. If I click on any one of these fish, like let's say I click on the hogfish, it's a Coconut Island fish. Need to back out of the way a little bit. It gives you the type, so it's an elusive, which is purple in the little fish icon in the minigame. The largest that I've ever caught was a 52.4 kilogram. It lives in salt water. It's catchable in any weather and any time of day. Other fish, like let's say this American alligator, he's a gold, which is called fabled in this game. His favorite time or the best time to catch him is at night, and he lives in swamp water. Swamp water is unique to Tanglewood, and if you click on any one of these regional things, it will bring up just the fish for that region. We've talked about gear. The last thing to talk about is the auto pet. The auto pet is a free thing that you get just for hitting level 5, and it has an idle aspect to it. So you start off with this frog on a beach ball, and he will sit in the water and catch fish for you. So I have everything maxed out on mine because I was a really high level, but let's go over it really quick. Capacity is self-explanatory. This is how many fish your pet can catch before it's full. Your catch speed is also kind of self-explanatory. It starts out at 600 seconds, which is about 10 minutes. Well, it's 10 minutes. And goes down to 200 seconds, which is, I think, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Roughly, it's like 3.33. So a third of 60 would be 20. Yeah, so 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Luck maxes out at 150 currently. Luck affects the rarity of the fish that you can catch. Now, you're not going to catch, at least currently, I should preface that because this could change. I've never caught any huge or tiny fish with my auto pet. I've never caught shadowed or cursed or blessed fish with my auto pet. All it catches are just regular fish, but the luck, I believe, affects things like the rarity. So like mythics, legendaries, rainbow, I don't know what that's called, but anyway, there's one fish that shows a rainbow when you try to catch it, that flashes all the different colors. So you'll catch those more often with your luck up there. I've caught some very valuable fish having my luck maxed out. The other thing is max weight. Starts off, I think, at like 5 kilograms or something, or 10 kilograms. It's not very high. It's about the same as your starting rod, but it maxes out currently at 327,680 kilograms, which is plenty big enough to catch everything currently in the game. I said earlier that I'm going to do more videos on stats, so I don't want to get too much into the weeds with things, but I can give you a quick guide on the auto pet when you're starting out. I would focus on catch speed first, put a point or two into capacity if you're the type of person who leaves your pet there and then forgets that it's there, but focus on catch speed, and then when that's maxed out, focus on weight, because raising that weight will bring you in bigger fish which are worth more, and then focus on luck, which gets you the more rare fish and the bigger fish, and then capacity. I mean, it's kind of a dump stat in my opinion. I got it maxed out because I could. Having it go up to 75 is really handy, and I can actually show you what that looks like right now. But in order to place it, if you remember from the lobby, you can use, I think, the P key on PC. If you're in VR, you have to open your menu and click on place. And then what happens is there's a little green triangle that will show up in the water. Oh, I can see it in the frame of my video. And then you just go ahead and click to place your auto pet. Can you move? Thank you. When your auto pet is in the water, you should see a little white circle that appears above it. It's not visible on camera, but when you put your auto pet in the water, you'll see a white circle start showing up. That's your timer. It tells you how much time is left between fish. When you want to take the fish out of your pet and put it in your bag, all you have to do is point at it, either with your mouse or your VR controller. You'll see a little UI pop up that says collect. Click on that. And, because here we go. There we go. You should have seen that list pop up. That's all the fish that were in my auto pet. So if I go back and reopen my menu, now you can see the little circle pulling up. Yeah, so the circle is down there. It just wasn't facing away from the camera, so it was invisible. Now you can see I've got all of these fish that I pulled out. And if you notice, none of these are special, as in none of them are large, none of them are tiny, none of them are electric, cursed, anything else. So your auto pet just catches regular fish, and that's okay because these are still going to be worth quite a bit of money. Once you've collected a bunch of fish, you're going to want to sell them for coins. As I stated previously, coins get you better equipment, faster and better boats, and some boat skins so that you and your friends can ride in style. To sell fish, each island has its own sell station run by Sunleaf Corp, a fictitious company that really, really, really wants your fish. Look, between you and I, we don't ask what they do with the fish after they buy them. We just take the coins, and it's just better off if we don't know. This is the Coconut Bay Equipment Store. I'm planning on doing some more videos later, or maybe even shorts that kind of go over equipment, strategies, things like that. But in the meantime, let's just go over some of the basics. This toy rod is going to be the next fish that you will buy after your stick and string. One of the other important purchases that you need to make is a boat. You can do so at one of these boat shops. There's one on every single island. If you click on shop, normally you would see a list of boats here with their prices, but because I already own all the boats in the beta, I'm just going to go ahead and go to my garage and use that to explain things. So first up, the cheapest of the cheap is the surfboard. I think it's around 800 coins. It's not very fast. It's not very tough. To be honest, I'm not really sure what toughness does. Somebody tried to tell me that if you stay on a surfboard for too long, it will actually fall apart and you will drown, but I've never confirmed that. Acceleration is low. Boost is pretty much non-existent. But it will get you out on the water, which is a great way to start earning. I actually skipped right to the rowboat. When this game launched into beta, the surfboards were kind of broken, Like, people would drown on them immediately after a certain distance in the ocean for some reason. It's fixed now. I've ridden my surfboard around a little bit, but the rowboat can actually fit up to 6 friends and has the same stats as the surfboard otherwise. The dinghy is actually a great boat, costs 25,000 gold coins. It has twice the speed of the surfboard or the rowboat, same toughness, much better acceleration, same boost. But my favorite part about the dinghy is that it's kind of a flat platform, so that when you haul 5 friends, anyway, when you haul your friends with you, everybody kind of has a place to stand in it, which is really cool. This boat is really fast, especially if you're coming from a rowboat or a dinghy. You'll definitely notice a difference. The only thing I don't like about it is that when you have your friends with you, you almost need someone who can spawn a boat next to it, because there's just not enough room for everyone to fish comfortably on this thing. Okay, last we got the luxury speedboat. I really love this thing. It's my main boat now. I did pay 1,000,000 coins for it, so that's part of it, but check out max speed, all the stars. Acceleration, all the stars. Boost, all the stars. Toughness, 2.5 stars. Toughest of any boat, who cares? I don't even understand what it means. Doesn't matter. One other cool thing about the boats is that you can customize them. So, for example, with the speedboat, looking at these skins, the top left green one is the default speedboat skin. I own all of the other skins so far to date. The bottom right one with the yellow and black stripes on the sides and the back was one of the rewards for people who beta tested the game. To be perfectly honest, I actually think it's incredibly ugly, but whatever. My favorite's the purple. So you click the skin that you want, and then you click the green arrow to go ahead and equip it. Once you have a boat, you can head to the open sea and visit other islands. Each island has a spawn point that players can select to be their home, a shop for selling fish, an equipment shop with unique rods, bobbers, and lines, and a boat shop where you can buy and spawn boats. As mentioned earlier, Coconut Bay is pretty much the center of the map, so let's talk about the other islands going clockwise. Tanglewood is a marsh island with a spooky ambiance. It's the only location where you can catch fish in swamp water, whereas the other islands have fresh or salt water. Unique to this island is a church with a legally distinct large flaming eye on top that is definitely not the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's worth checking the church out early on. There are also a few minor points of interest. A small shack on the water, surrounded by string lights with furniture inside, including a Rastafarian flag. My friends and I enjoy fishing from the roof here. An empty shack on a dock at the rear of the island, a second fishing spot with string lights on the back of the island, and whatever this guy is doing in this shack. The spawn point for Tanglewood is the inn located between the selling shop and the equipment shop. The next island is Crescent Isle, or as my girlfriend calls it, Catalina Wine Mixer. It's a semi-tropical island with a volcano in the middle and a town with a large dock next to the water. If you drive your boat around the island, you'll probably also notice a cave-like tunnel that runs all the way through it. This point of interest was not implemented in the beta, but we've been told it will be included in the full release. There are multiple quest objectives on this island. You can start or fulfill these quests by talking to certain NPCs, so it's worth chatting with most of them. The inn here is also between the selling shop and the equipment shop. Last, we have Luxian Dunes, which is a desert island. The village here is a bit hidden, but it's still pretty easy to find. This island features an oasis with a secret, a crater with a secret, a crypt that was physically in the beta but was locked, so I'm hoping to learn what that's about someday. And the shop here had some of the best equipment during the beta period. You may also want to talk to NPCs in this town, especially the one near the Pyramid Temple. The inn here is the building next to the waterfall with the sign out front and the lit ankh on the second floor. Other points of interest around the open sea include the small lighthouse island, the enchanting altar, the bones that stick out of the water like the spine of some gigantic ancient creature, and a mysterious evil-looking tower. The tower was another location not fully implemented in the beta, but there are hints that there is a quest involved when this becomes available. Each of these locations are worth checking out. They're not just for decoration. The bulk of the map is the open sea, which has its own index of fish to catch. There are also special fishing pools that spawn randomly in the ocean and have similar but different outcomes when you fish in them. Occult pools have a higher chance to spawn cursed fish. Midas rifts have a higher chance to spawn golden fish. Celestial chasms have a higher chance to spawn galaxy fish. And strange whirlpools have a higher chance of spawning a fish with a random prefix. There are also schools of fish that pop up, like a school of common stingrays, for example, which don't seem very exciting to me unless that particular fish is on the bounty board that day. I fished at quite a few, and you'll mostly catch the same fish that you would catch anywhere else in the open sea, just with a higher chance to catch the specific fish named in the school. Granted, this was in the beta, so for all I know, that could be different after the game releases. The last world item to discuss is a special event that can happen anywhere. Right now, the only world event is a randomly occurring nighttime event called Moonrain. During Moonrain, which lasts for 6 minutes, your luck stat is doubled. During the beta, this bonus could be stacked with luck potions, and I hope that's still true after the release. Remember, luck increases your chance of catching rare fish, and rare fish are worth more coins, so a Moonrain event can be pretty profitable. Alright, before I wrap things up, I want to do a real quick plug. If you're a decent human being who's pretty tolerant of other people, and you just want some other cool people to hang out with and fish in this world, come and join us in Fish Doki. The short code is F as in fish, Doki, D-O-K-I-E, just like it says here on my hoodie, .9966. Or I'll also put a link to the group in VRChat in the description. Fish Doki is an offshoot of the karaoke group Karaoke Doki. It's an obscure Adult Swim reference. If you watched the official VRChat New Year's Eve stream, you might have seen a video of people singing Chapel Roan's Pink Pony Club. That was us. I filmed about 95% of that and edited the whole thing myself. And you can also check that out on my channel. I will put a box up here with a link, I think, in the video. Fish Doki has regular Group Plus instances in this world, so if you join the group, you can see those easier, and we typically do those in the evenings for the east coast of the United States, starting at like 7 o'clock-ish. And on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, we've also been just kind of running them sporadically. We have members all over the United States, Canada, a couple from Europe, so it just kind of depends on who's online and who wants to create a group instance. But if you see one, feel free to drop in. We usually do Group Plus. You can come by, play with us, meet some people. And if you like singing, you can also join Karaoke Doki after. So that's basically it. That's the basics of Fish. Everything you need to understand to at least get started. If you're a regular VRChat user, or even if you haven't logged in for a long time, you can probably see why this world stands out above other worlds in VRChat. I've played other fishing worlds, I've played a lot of other VR and PC fishing games, and Fish by far, Fish exclamation point, by far has been one of the more engaging experiences. The social aspect is just way better than anything else that I've played, and my friends and I have talked about the fact that this feels like an indie game that you would buy from the Meta Store or Steam. During the beta, there's already a lot of content here, and Godfall has promised there will be even more after the full launch on Friday the 27th, along with seasonal events and other further development. While I hope that people support TrickForge Studios by purchasing some of those items from the VRChat Bucks store, you can still try it out and play for free today. VRChat's free, Fish is free. You can't really go wrong. You can play on PC, VR, or Android mobile. The link to this world is in the description of the video, so go ahead, grab your friends, hit the seas in your boat, make sure that you kiss your partner, pets, and or children goodbye, because you're probably going to want to spend some time here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you're not subscribed yet and you liked what you saw, you liked this world, maybe you want to see some more content, go ahead and subscribe as well. I'm currently also working on a beginner's guide to fish that I'm planning to release very soon that would cover a lot of the basics about how to get started, what equipment to use, things like that. You're kind of on a rail, but I can give you some guidance there. I'm also planning on some shorts to cover some of these things for the people who can't sit through however long this video ends up being. But I want to go into more depth with equipment and stats, boats, Easter eggs, secrets, legally distinct references, the fish and fishing, maybe some quest walkthroughs, talk about NPCs. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions, honestly. There's a lot of content to cover here. I want to thank Godfall and TrickForge Studios for making such an engaging and fun VRChat game world. The VRChat developers also who continue to do great work despite the fact that they don't always get the recognition that they need to from the community. I also want to thank and give a shout out to my crew, Sailor Goosey, Ferdiad, Bunny Eden and Camdog, ASCII Angel, Hanny Bee, Ben was here, Fry, Feliz Noche, and everyone else who's part of our fish crew. I know I'm probably forgetting people, and I apologize if I do, but those are the people that I've spent the most time with in this world. Several of the jokes and comments in this video actually came out of conversations that we've all had over the past 2 weeks. The reality is, as much as I love this world and this game, it just wouldn't be what it is without friends. Last, I want to thank all of you for watching my video and making it all the way to this point. I hope you try this world, and I hope you enjoy it, and good fishing out there.